This is the Eko Tribute S-300 Strat. Now, if Eko had sent me this guitar, they could have picked what they sent me. As it goes, I just bought an Eko guitar, so they couldn't know it's for review, and this is what I got. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo J. Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. You can call me this guy if my name is tricky to pronounce. Before we go on, this video is sponsored by the great people over on my Patreon who support this channel. Now, if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description, and that way you can get all of my music lessons and exclusives, and you can even take that stuff for free if you want to. Like I said, link in the description. But a huge thank you to all the people who support me over on Patreon. Today I'm checking out the Eko Tribute S-300 Stratocaster. It's 169 euros, and I bought it from a local store here. The man who worked in the store was very kind and offered to set it up for me, but as I was parked slightly dubiously, I said I can do that stuff myself, which I can. But here's the great thing: if you actually buy from a local music store, they will set up your instrument for you, which is a great thing, or at least they will hear. I don't know how it works otherwise, but yeah, if you buy stuff online, you'll have to do setups yourself or take them to a luthier who will do the setup for you, which will cost you money. Why am I mentioning this? Well, because this guitar had some setting up to do. And even after setup, now spoiler alert, you can skip ahead if you want to, there are timestamps for that. Even after setup, let's just say it isn't brilliant, and this is the reason that I buy the gear that I review, especially with guitars, because the manufacturer can't pick out what they send me. I'm not saying that anyone is doing dishonest reviews on YouTube, although there might be people who do that, I don't know. But what I am saying is that when I buy the gear that I review, everything is totally transparent. I have no reason to lie, I have no vested interest, and the people sending me the stuff to review, or the stuff that I review, can't be picked out by the manufacturer. And if Eko had picked out an S-300 Strat for me to review, they wouldn't have sent this particular one. So, what's off with this guitar? Well, stick around. Yes, this guitar has a linden body. The fingerboard is South American Rupana. I'm not sure how to say that. A maple neck, 22 frets. Scale is 647 millimeters. Tuning pegs are die-cast, and the vibrato is standard. 3 single coil pickups. And when we take a look at the guitar, I have to say I think it looks a bit cheap. The grain on the wood, well, what you would expect. The tuners, they're not the cheapest of the cheap, but they do look pretty cheap. The tone and volume knobs, even those look a bit cheap. And on the back side, you have this cheap block on the whammy bar, but that's to be expected. So nothing, I mean, the parts can be cheap, but if it works, great. Let's play a bit before I say anything more. What else do I have here? I have my Marshall Plexi, I have an overdrive which I'll be using as well, I have some delay in the loop. I haven't tried this guitar with an amp yet, so let's see if everything works. Okay, everything works, and as you can hear, it's not an entirely clean sound. That's the way I like it. Now, before I go on, this tone pot here is not wired to this pickup. That's pretty standard, but I like it to be wired there as well, just so you know, in case you're thinking of buying this. The pickup selector is really stiff. I don't know why. I actually have to use, it feels like almost have to use a bit of force to change pickups. So, it's not looking promising, is it? Let's check out the sounds a bit. Okay, so far the sounds are what you would expect. It sounds like a Strat. This is really bothering me. I like changing pickups a lot, and I just can't do it with the kind of flick of a hand because this thing is really quite heavy. I will check out how it stays in tune when you use the whammy bar a bit later as well. Let's add a bit of overdrive. Actually, let's see how noisy the pickups are. I have a Steve Lukather overdrive here, which has no noise gate. When you turn it on, it sounds like this. So quite a bit of noise, made worse by compression and all that. But let's see how much noise the pickups make. Well, the bridge pickup seems to squeal. Yep, fair bits of noise, but that's to be expected as well with single coil pickups. Here's another thing that slightly bothers me. The small screws on in the saddles here. From what I've understood, on both these strings, they should be slightly shorter because the saddles will be slightly lower, or the pieces will be slightly lower because of the way the neck is curved and all that. These aren't, so they stick out a bit. They can be a bit uncomfortable. Still, no deal breaker. Let's get to the deal breaker soon. It sounds like a Strat. Let's add even more overdrive. Okay, let's see how it stays in tune before we do anything else. Or before I give you the actual why this is such a poor guitar. So this is the way it's in tune now. Actually, let's give it a moderate go first and see if it can handle that. Notice it didn't stay in tune. I wasn't expecting it to. It would get better if you lubed the nut. Wouldn't have such tuning issues, but this guitar has some serious issues. This string rattle. Before I go on to why that rattle is there, the setup business. The neck was wonky, but that was treatable with the truss rod. It had absolutely ridiculous amounts of fret sprout. Probably the worst I've seen. But filing down the fret ends gave me ample time to look at this really cheap looking fretboard. Now, some people say that fret sprout isn't a huge issue, and in a way it isn't. But if you're buying an entry-level guitar, chances are you're a beginner, and for me at least, if I was a beginner, I wouldn't want to have to deal with fret sprout straight out of the box. I would want to try to learn guitar on something that is pleasant to play and does not hurt your hands the way fret sprout does. This is still not entirely good. It's actually started sprouting a bit more. This guitar is made in China, and I've played guitars that have come from China that have been fine. No fret sprout. Fret sprout happens when the wood isn't dry, and it dries and the frets start sticking out. That can be because of the climate differences in different countries. So in Finland in the winter it's really dry, so that will dry out wood. That being said, you can dry out wood even in slightly more tropical climates. It will add to the cost though. But I've had cheaper guitars from China with no fret sprouts. But that's not the real issue, because it's still treatable fairly easily. The real issue is this. That rattle is caused by one of the frets sticking out a bit. I discovered this while using a fret rocker because I couldn't fix the buzz. And then I found another fret that was sticking out somewhere over here, I forget now. Which means it has at least two frets that are sticking out, and that's not as easy to deal with as the fret sprouts. And this is the reason why I buy the gear that I review. Because, like I said, if Eko had sent me a guitar to review, they would have picked one where the fretwork was way better than on this. They would probably have set it up, they would have probably filed down the fret edges, they would have seen to it that there was no fret sticking out. It would have had the same pickups. The pickups would have been noisy and not brilliant. It would have had the same fretboard, which looks cheap. Everything would have been the same, except for slight quality control issues. I don't know about this pickup selector, if they would have fitted in a better, or I don't know what's up with that. But this really is one of the worst guitars I've tried on the channel. And I don't like saying bad things about guitars or companies that make them. I don't know too much about Eko guitars except that they're Italian, and they probably make some good instruments as well. But this particular one, and I can only review what I have here, this is a load of excrement. Buy something else if you want alternatives. I have a video of 8 great budget guitars. You can check out options there. If you want to, you can check out my guitar reviews playlist, which is here, and if you want to, you can check out my music. I'd be happy if you did. You can check out my Patreon for lessons and exclusives and music as well. The link is in the description. I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Please consider supporting, because I probably won't want to sell this. I'll just give this away to someone. Comment, let me know what you thought, if you have any experience with these guitars. Subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification thing, and above all, I hope you have a nice day. Take care. See you. Bye.